Hi, Roy here. I thought I'd pop in with a DINOvember video. Yes, it's DINOvember, a month of reading books with dinosaurs in them. So this is an event that was devised by Andrea, Infinite Text, with a great group of co-hosts, all great channels. Reading a dinosaur book is the beginning and end of the challenge in a sense, but there are some prompts as well, including read a dinosaur classic. That's what I've done. But before I got there, talking of classics, my other read of the month is Katie Books and Things with her Dickens along, where we're reading Bleak House by Charles Dickens. Big. And I didn't think this would be a dinosaur book. And yet
I was just going to say, surely that's not got no dinosaurs.
Well, you'd think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And yet here we are on the first paragraph.
Yeah.
London, Michaelmas term lately over. Was it Michaelmas?
Michaelmas.
London, Michaelmas term lately over, and the Lord Chancellor sitting in Lincoln's Inn Hall. Implacable November weather, which it is. As much mud in the streets as if the waters had but newly retired from the face of the earth, and it would not be wonderful to meet a megalosaurus,
Blimey!
40 feet long or so, waddling like an elephantine lizard up Holborn Hill. So, yeah, there's a dinosaur. We're still in the age of the dinosaurs. Literally, because we still have birds. Anyway, yes, I read The Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle, which I'd never read. I'd probably.
I'm very surprised.
Yeah, well, I saw one of the movies once, but
good enough.
yeah, never got round to reading it. I think, like a lot of people with Arthur Conan Doyle, you sort of think Sherlock Holmes. The Holmes stories are great. You could always read them again. So, yeah, so it's a story of exploration of a land where dinosaurs are still alive, because I suppose dinosaur fiction, I can't really imagine reading a book where it's just about dinosaurs unless they've been sort of anthropomorphized in some way. You've got to find some way to get humans and dinosaurs together. Could be time travel, could be discovering some place where for some reason dinosaurs are still around, or having some reason for dinosaurs to come into our time, I suppose. So these places, you got your Hollow Earth, that sort of thing. In The Lost World, it's a plateau in South America that's been raised up dramatically by volcanic action. Creatures all stuck on the top, and they've carried on living up there. Okay, so that's cool. So this is in 1912. So Arthur Conan Doyle had already written about Sherlock Holmes. He'd written lots of historicals, and here he is launching a big new exciting series. And the advertising for it was partly about Professor Challenger, one of the main characters, as being this kind of great sort of Doyle's great invention. You know, here's his next amazing character. You won't believe him, Professor Challenger. And I wonder if this was really the first time that people were getting land dinosaurs in fiction in a big kind of way. You know, there'd been Jules Verne with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but here you're going to get various, all our favourites like Tyrannosauruses and stuff stomping about on land, all of that. And this might have been the first time that was happening, as well as having a colourful character as the lead. Yeah, so what we've got is this illustrated exploration, lost race kind of story. Lost race of humans, or sort of proto-humans, which is another thing. So, you know, at some point somebody's going to give you the boring information that there never were cave people and dinosaurs coexisting. We don't want to hear that. So in this, there are like tribes of near humans as well on this plateau. So the way the story works is Professor Challenger, he's been down there already, And he's this eccentric, incredibly arrogant scientist who actually is kind of a genius, and he's like physically sort of mighty and like hirsute and kind of gnomic, or gnome-like, I suppose. Probably wouldn't. He puts his wife on a pedestal, like an actual physical pedestal that's 7 foot high, to chastise her about something. I'm not sure that would play today.
I don't like that.
No. It was.
He bad man.
Would be seen as knockabout comedy at the time. And he would fight. He's always fighting people. Anyway, he's been to South America and discovered notebooks from a previous explorer, and also he's actually photographed a tyrannosaur. What do they call them? Pteranodon, the flying ones. But nobody believes him, and stuff's been lost, and it's all like, well, you could just made that up and stuff. So the scientific community are just laughing at him, which he doesn't like. But in the end, the Royal Society, or the Royal Geographic Society, or whatever it is, they decide to have another expedition with independent people along with him to verify, or they think, we'll just make this go away. People will go with him, including the guy writing the story, who's a journalist, an adventurer, and another scientist. So we got this sort of ragtag crew going to South America, getting to the plateau, and of course they end up on it. In fact, they end up marooned on it and have all sorts of adventures with the dinosaurs and with the people and with the trying to escape, because they're stuck on the top of a big plateau. So it's a pretty good rollicking adventure. Again, you can sense that Conan Doyle, he's enjoying writing this, whereas I don't really think he was enjoying writing the later Sherlock Holmes stories so much. It's got some of the it's of the time issues. The stratification of races is very, very sort of hardwired into the story. Basically, sort of, as it were, pure-blooded natives are superior to half-breeds who tend to be duplicitous and stuff like that. And there's some cheerful subjugation of the lesser ape people race on the thing. So that's not good. But you are getting you're getting an insight into Edwardian attitudes, into that kind of thing. There's also some interesting sort of doubling. So Professor Challenger, who I've mentioned, has the leader of one of the adversary races resembles him in lots of ways, so that's sort of weird. And there's another thing I quite like, actually, the idea that, because we know they're on this plateau big enough to sustain a kind of ecosystem, and it says we know roughly this plateau is not larger than an average English county. So I just like this idea of English county being the sort of yardstick for this incredibly alien place. I was wondering, what is an average English county? Well, it turns out that there is an area, and that the actual county that conforms closest to that is Warwickshire. So you can imagine a sort of a Warwickshire with dinosaurs is basically what we're talking about.
I'm imagining it now.
Yeah, well, yeah. The landscape, I think...
They all go to Birmingham on a Saturday to do their shopping.
Yeah. I think the landscape is as much part of the story as the dinosaurs and the people. That's probably true of lots of these dinosaur stories. Because it's only, they can't be charging at you all the time. But there's as much dinosaur action as you could possibly want. Anyway, I read the stories in their natural habitat of the Strand, where they first appeared. So the Strand, a monthly magazine, lots of fiction, lots of articles, pioneer of illustrated magazine pages. This is where Doyle did a lot of his writing, and Sherlock Holmes had been transformative for the Strand, so naturally they wanted more of the same. And in 1912 they were giving it massive billing. Story appears as the first thing, I think, in every episode. Big exciting typography and lots of illustrations. I'll probably have to insert these rather than wave the camera, but they did an interesting thing where they make out, or they use photographs as well as obvious illustrations, which gives you that idea that, you know, together with things like maps and stuff, could this actually be real? So there are photographs of the principals. It's hard to tell how real they are, because in these days sort of photographs did look a little bit like illustrations, and were probably touched up anyway. But there's that, and
they were basically just photoshopped. Is that what you say?
Yeah,
photoshopped by hand.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, with a brush.
Plus ça change.
Then you get, once you get into the main action, you get obviously lots of fabulous illustrations of dinosaurs and other creatures, so it's very exciting. And you know, it's like a graphic novel. I've said that before about magazines like this. Harry Roundtree, the illustrations are really, really key to the story as it first appeared. So a romp through deep time is what The Lost World is. Like I say, of its time, but definitely worth a read. I always think it's interesting with this kind of thing to see how it fitted into the rest of the magazine. You know, it's a bit of a sort of what did you think of the play, Mrs. Lincoln? But other stuff that was surrounding The Lost World. There's a serialised novel, Judith Lee, Experiences of a Lip Reader, by Richard Marsh, famous for The Beetle. Would like to read that, haven't got the whole thing unfortunately. Is Love a Disease? Illustrations from photographs. The Mesmeric Lady, short story. What else have we got? Yeah, so it ran for best part of a year. 15-minute exercises, as you would see in every magazine and website ever, still to this day.
Yeah.
How to do exercise in very little time. Night adventure on the Fingerspitze.
On the where?
Mountains. So it's interesting how the stories sort of bleed into each other. So you literally finish reading The Lost World, move into a story about mountaineering exploration with amazing photographs and layouts of the pages. The Beauty Meter by E.S. Valentine. So here we have a guy who is claiming to have sort of worked out a scientific way to calibrate beauty in human faces. You can see his this sort of grid he would stick on your face to see how well you conform to that. So yeah, cheers mate, that's a terrible idea. Yes. If you've ever wondered how beautiful Thackeray, Dickens, Scott and Kipling are, then he could tell you based on science.
and how
and lunacy.
Are they?
Well, I think Kipling's coming out as pretty standardised in terms of facial size and position of features. Anyway, yeah, so love the magazines, could happily curl up with those. Lost World, pretty good. I think I've got another Dino video in me, probably to do with comic books, so that'll come out in a while. But before that, I'll be talking about Ouida, getting back into the Victorian bestsellers project that's kicking off next month. Okay, so back soon with something else. Bye.
Bye.